This is Christine Palacio. Unforgettable, enchanting, wonderful. Bali is the third chapter of my 100 days around the world. Bali kept all its promises, be it by the natural beauty of its environment or the kindness of its inhabitants. Bali is peace, Bali is beauty, Bali is happiness. Happiness that will welcome you and surround you, even if you're not one of the characters of Eat, Pray, Love. With its head piercing the clouds, Mount Agung, the highest of the island, welcomes visitors flying in, and the ochre shades of the roof tiles sets the decor of what's to come. In the airport building, a charmingly decorated environment catches the eye. It's beautiful, and it's only the beginning. A taxi ride up north, and I arrive to my hotel, the Alam Sari Keliki, where the lily pad basin greets guests. This is a corner of paradise where the owners are trying to ecologically develop interesting local activities for their visitors. And so the next morning, a group of us leave with a guide to walk through the rice fields, by far one of the most typical and lovely landscapes in Bali, in spite of the hard work they involve. Inhabited by protective statues or mini temples draped in traditional cloth, rice paddies are built in staircase fashion and efficiently irrigated from the highest to the lowest point. This is a centuries-old culture. Children are part of the group, and the youngster provides explanations of the site.
Eat for rice.
Activated by the breeze, fans are chasing birds away, while ducks are enjoying, very evidently, a mud bath. The children can hardly resist the temptation of following them. Farmers work at a regular pace under a very warm sun, and men and women assume various chores. Nothing is wasted, not even the grass grown on the field dividers, which is harvested as animal feed. While the children are posing once more for the camera and we all admire the landscape, curious eyes are peeping from afar at the other end of the field, and they are waiting for us on the path. Women are heading back home with wood for the kitchen fires. Penetrating in a shadowy forest, the path takes us to the family compound of an already well-known local artist. Typical small houses are made of 2 rooms and a larger open space area where each woman has her own kitchen. Buildings are added with the advent of family weddings, and there is, of course, an area of devotion, where deities' statues are often presented with offerings. Traditional fish basins bring happiness to the compound and its inhabitants. The artist, Idabagus Ketut Dharma, teaches young local students demonstrating remarkable talents. They start their training at an early age. Their young hands will soon develop a great mastering of their art that will prove useful in several traditional trades on the island. All children sit around the table for a short session of artistic creativity. A good hand and a good sense of observation are necessary in the work of craftsmen such as this one. Whether it is with wood carvings or sculptures in stone or concrete, the whole island of Bali seems decorated by the hands of its people, and always Rama and Sita. Downtown Ubud is a good example of their work. And the market is the nerve of the tourism industry, with its unbelievable amount of everything pleasing to the eyes. Surrounding the marketplace, small busy streets and alleys reveal more arts and crafts shops, as well as interesting architectural details. But the skies are darkening, and by the time I reach the hotel, I cannot avoid the first few drenching minutes of my very first experience of tropical rain. The next day, a guided tour takes me to the surrounding area of the hotel, north of Ubud, into rustic and typical villages where life is structured upon family and agriculture, basic stores, and prayer temples. From the white herons in Petulu to the funeral convoy being built in the next village, the whole region is rich in discoveries. A few kilometers east of Ubud, it is possible to visit the Goa Gadja bath and its impressive elephant cavern where monks once isolated themselves to pray and fast.
Vishnu stroke tiger, Shiva destroyer.
With my guide Putu, we hop again in the car and pass through villages where beds of rice grains are drying on the streets and under the car's tires. Lunch break at the lovely Lakeview restaurant and time for a good meal as well as welcoming live traditional music. After lunch, visit of the spice garden to discover cocoa pods, coffee trees, and spices of all kinds that can only be found in small jars at home. Later, we stopped to visit the sacred baths of Tirtha Empul in the village of Manukraya, north of Ubud. My guide will not join me for the visit, as he had a death in his family recently, and it would not be proper for him to set foot on sacred grounds. Therefore, I go alone for a quiet walk on this land of various small temples, all adorned by a multitude of gods and goddesses statues. On the way out, a magnificent banyan tree. Back to the hotel, I sit with the owners, two teachers from Jakarta, who built the complex in the middle of the 90s. We leave for a visit of museums and art galleries that prove extremely interesting, and we drive by the monkey forest as well, where these little beasts are kings. And before leaving the southern region of Bali to drive to Lovina in the north tomorrow, a pleasant evening of traditional dance and music.